This is our submarine meatball sandwich.
Anybody hungry?
Not anymore.
Here we are, at the 9th episode of Moviocrity, and yet it strikes me that not only have I neglected to spotlight the 1970s as perhaps the greatest decade for exploitation film, I have also not spotlighted the work of my cinematic idol, the great Roger Corman. These are two oversights that can't be allowed to continue, and so we're taking care of them right now. Hollywood Boulevard is one of Corman's 1970s productions, falling under the banner of his New World Pictures. The whole film is a send-up, not just of the films New World was churning out, but of New World Pictures in general. The story follows Candy Wednesday, played by the late Candace Rylson. She's just gotten off the bus from Indiana and is looking to get into the movie business. But aside from some grabby producers and wanted felons, the studios are not exactly opening themselves up to her. Her shameless agent finally gets her an ongoing gig with Miracle Pictures, where if the movie is good, it's a miracle. These guys make a movie a week. Car chase movies, Filipino action pictures, low-budget sci-fi films, all with an emphasis on sex and violence over story and production values. This is basically New World Pictures, complete with direct spoofs of some of their films. Candy is one of 3 actresses who earns herself a place as one of the Miracle Pictures starlets, much to the chagrin of veteran actress Mary McQueen, played by New World and Andy Warhol alum Mary Woronov. But could she be behind the string of accidents that are claiming the lives of Miracle Pictures' talent?
Eric, think of the dramatic realism. If Candy, Bobby, and Jill's characters get killed off in the third reel, first the audience feels loss, and then they feel anger, and then they feel hatred, real hatred.
I don't know, Mary. It sounds a little
It's
far.
me left alone. The desperate woman bit? Now, Eric, you know that I am not angling for a larger part. That's the furthest thing from my mind. I'm thinking of the emotion. Me against the jungle, me against the sadistic natives, me against the quicksand, the flowers, the banana.
Mary, that's just silly.
It's not silly, it's the human condition.
Mary, this is not a film about the human condition. This is a film about tits and ass.
Hollywood Boulevard began life as most art does, as a bet. Roger Corman was becoming upset that the shooting schedules for films were stretching over 3 weeks and demanding budgets upwards of $500,000. Gasp, shudder. Producer John Davison, who would later go on to produce big films like Airplane and RoboCop, bet Corman that he could still make a film quicker and cheaper than any film in New World history. Roger Corman traditionally loves a good challenge, especially when it involves squeezing out a profitable film on a ridiculously low budget. Corman himself did just that when he shot Little Shop of Horrors and The Terror. Years later, he would make a similar bet with Jim Wynorski, who would lift the Miracle Pictures banner for his remake of Not of This Earth. Davison promised a film that would be shot in 10 days and on a $50,000 budget. In order to handle this, he would need people that knew these films backwards and forwards. Hence, he went to Joe Dante and Alan Arkush, who had been cutting all the trailers for New World. No one knew the footage by heart like they did, which is good because Hollywood Boulevard uses loads of stock footage from these films, incorporated somewhat seamlessly into the narrative. Dante and Arkush scraped together a thin plot as an excuse to both salute and lampoon the exploitation business of the 1970s. No insurance, no permits, and the pair were fairly certain this was going to be their only chance to direct. So they threw everything they could into this one without going over budget, of course. The film actually manages to be funny. It's filled with clever jokes about this crazy business, and even more jokes that are so tired, you can't help but smile at some of them.
Hello. You want an Amazon girl and a giant python. Hold on a second. Hey. How tall are you?
5'4".
Hey, listen, I ain't got one, but I got a midget lady who does a great act with a worm. Right. Hang on, Shorty, I'm still working for you.
And make no mistake, Miracle Pictures is New World Pictures. They use footage from many New World pictures, but also have lots of subtle nods to earlier Corman films. The director character, as pretentious as he sometimes seems, has an enthusiasm for the material that speaks to him answering a higher calling. And in interview segments, he kind of sounds like Corman.
Yes, Mike, I've done almost all of my films for Miracle Pictures. PG, our producer, gives me a freedom here that most directors at the majors never get. In every film, we try to confront a major, important social issue of the day. For instance, Scotty, would you come over here? This is a prop from our new picture, Atomic War Brides. In this film, we are combining the myth of Romeo and Juliet with high-speed car action and a sincere plea for international atomic controls in our time. Cut.
In addition to the many pieces of movie memorabilia and genre favorites on display, they even sprinkle industry favorites of the past and present throughout. Pointing these people out can be as much fun as matching whatever film Hollywood Boulevard is mining for stock footage. They managed to get a great cast for this too. Rylson was an actress that appeared in exploitation flicks like Pets and Summer School Teachers. She would also get occasional bit parts in films like The Eiger Sanction and Winter Kills, but it would be her exploitation films which left the most lasting impression.
What would you say if I told you that my could talk?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early...
If you had frequented the drive-ins of the 1970s, you would have been familiar with a lot of the supporting cast. Warrenov had been in everything from Death Race 2000 to Jackson County Jail, and had been a fixture of Andy Warhol's factory before that. Paul Bartel had directed Death Race 2000, as well as Private Parts. Both would show up in future Corman films and would join up in the higher-profile cult classic Eating Raoul. And how meta does Hollywood Boulevard get? How about this? The great character actor Dick Miller has one of his most memorable turns as Candy's agent, Walter Paisley. Walter Paisley is also the name of the main character in Corman's 1959 film, A Bucket of Blood. Also, at one point in Hollywood Boulevard, the characters are seen watching Corman's film, The Terror. And who pops up on screen? Way! Look at that, it's a young Dick Miller, which is integrated into the story by having Paisley reveal that he used to be an actor. That's pretty clever for a film done on a rush and filled with so many old jokes, the script sometimes reads like Henny Youngman's wastepaper basket. And that's why Dante and Arkush went on to such great and well-deserved careers after this film. It would be one thing to just poke fun at the material, and they do. But they also celebrate it. Sort of like us. You have to have a sense of humor about this kind of stuff. But where we part ways with the smug comments of hipsters and pompous fools is a sense of unapologetic joy and wonder when it comes to low-budget filmmaking. You could probably run Hollywood Boulevard without interruption and it would sum up pretty much everything Adventure Without Shame is all about.
I love Hollywood!
And we fade out the end! Cut!
Tonight, I'm going to the movies. Tonight, I'm gonna lay back and stare. And let the pictures take me anywhere. Tonight, it's gonna be a